In this video, we're going to be discussing Oliver Ekman-Larsson and his future with the Coyotes. Will he be moved, or will he stay there long term? And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If this is your first time to the channel, thanks for stopping by. On this channel, we discuss all NHL news. We cover all 31 NHL teams with an unbiased opinion. So if you love hockey, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss anything. Alright, jumping into today's topic, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. There certainly seems to be a lot of speculation with his contract not too far away from expiring that maybe the Coyotes should consider trading him. Obviously, it's fair to say he's their top player. He's been there a long time, and he's certainly regarded as one of the top defensemen in the NHL. Obviously, the Coyotes are having a historically bad season. Don't let that 3-game winning streak they're currently on through Eastern Canada fool you. They're certainly not going to turn things around and suddenly be a playoff team. I think it's safe to say the Coyotes season is all but over. They've dug themselves way too big a hole to get out this year. So obviously, they do have a lot of prospects. And maybe the future might be bright in Phoenix. But for right now, it's not very bright. And should they consider trading their star player to bring back perhaps a haul of prospects or picks? Well, that's what we want to discuss. I have some teams that I think would be a good fit for him. And let's analyze to see where we think he may go if the deal goes down. I think an easy top pick for who might land Oliver Ekman-Larsson would be the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, as we all know, the Leafs have a pretty strong team and are having a pretty good season. Obviously, their sophomore kids, for the most part, are picked up where they left off last year and have improved even further. So last year, even though the Leafs were a wildcard team, looks as though this year they're definitely well on their way to moving up the standings and getting closer to calling themselves a contender. I think it's safe to say that, in my opinion at least, as well as I think it's a pretty commonly shared one, that for the Leafs to really be considered serious, to be a legitimate threat for a Stanley Cup, they need a top-end defenseman. And that's the one area of their game right now that they're missing. They have lots of forwards who can score. They have a pretty good goaltender in Frederik Andersen. Yes, he could be a little bit more consistent, but for the most part, he's pretty solid. But their defense is suspect and could use another top-end guy. They do have a few defensemen that are pretty good, but they really don't have that true number one, in my opinion, to really put them over the top. And if you look at all the prospects that they've accumulated that have turned into NHL or close to NHL players, I think it's safe to say they could part with one or two of these guys in order to land Ekman-Larsson. I think it could be a good deal for both clubs. Now, I've heard one speculation about William Nylander being traded for Ekman-Larsson, and I think that's crazy. As much as they might get the deal done, I think they'd be crazy to trade Nylander. He's probably, outside of Matthews, their best long-term prospect. That's, well, not really a prospect anymore, but of all their young players outside of Matthews, he's easily the next best guy they have, in my opinion. Now, could a guy like Mitch Marner? Maybe. I know they seem to be pretty high on Marner too, but they've got other players like Soshnikov, Kasperi Kapanen. You know, there's other guys, and maybe Marner's one guy that they can look at as well. But they've got lots of prospects. So obviously the Coyotes would want a combination of draft picks and prospects. Would be the most likely scenario they're going to want back, obviously, because they want to build for the future. So they're not going to be overly concerned with roster players right today. So could the Maple Leafs be a good partner to hook up with the Coyotes and land Ekman-Larsson? I certainly think so. I think it'd be a good move for the Leafs for sure. Not sure if this deal is something that could happen, but I think it's something that would be great for Toronto. It'd give them a boost to get them over the top. And at the same time, I think they would have probably just about more than any other club what the Coyotes are going to want in return if they're going to consider moving their top player. I think another good trading choice for Oliver Ekman-Larsson would be the Ottawa Senators. Obviously, I think he would look real good on the other side of Erik Karlsson. Obviously, with Mark Methot being gone from the Senators due to the expansion draft, I know they've signed Johnny Oduya to kind of be Methot's replacement this year. But in all honesty, he's a decent defenseman, but he's no Mark Methot, and he's having a hard time, I think, keeping up with Karlsson. Karlsson's obviously, due to the number of minutes he plays, certainly plays with multiple defensemen throughout a game. I think the only player really in their current system that could play with Karlsson maybe is Freddie Claesson, or if they develop Thomas Chabot, there's another option too. But, you know, I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson would look real nice next to Erik Karlsson. Now, the Ottawa Senators also have a pretty good cupboard of prospects they could consider moving for a guy like him as well. I mean, they've got Colin White still down in the minors. They do have Shabbat, who I don't think it would make sense to trade Shabbat for Ekman-Larsson. That would be kind of silly in my opinion. But they've got lots of other guys that high picks that they've had between college, junior, and in their Belleville system that they could consider getting this guy as well. So I think the Senators are also a contender to land Ekman-Larsson. I think Karlsson's influence might certainly help things along. But I think the two Battle of Ontario teams, the Leafs and the Senators, might be the two top picks should the Coyotes want to move this guy. Now the other options, I think sticking with the theme here of Canada's teams looking to bring Ekman-Larsson home, obviously I think the Oilers and the Habs also should take a look at this as well. The only reason I put the Leafs and the Senators ahead is they've done a much better job recently based on how their team is structured. They have a lot more prospects. I think they'd have more what the Coyotes would want than the Oilers or the Habs. I think the Oilers and Habs, probably fair to say based on their seasons, that they do have pieces they wouldn't mind parting with in order to bring back another guy of this caliber. But I'm not sure they'd have what the Coyotes are looking for. To me, it wouldn't make sense for the Coyotes to be taking on a lot of salary. They're going to want prospects and picks to build for the future. That to me would make the most sense. And I just don't think that they would really have what the Coyotes would want. I mean, it would make good sense for them to bring him in. I just think lining up the deal to make it work with both sides would be difficult. Either way, in my opinion, if Oliver Ekman-Larsson ends up being traded, I think there's a pretty good chance he could end up playing in Canada on one of Canada's teams. So leave me a comment down below. Do you think he's going to be traded? And if so, what's the most likely teams that you think he would go to? If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button in the middle of your screen so you can keep up with all the latest videos from Top Shelf Hockey.